I did a mistake, guys. And the mistake is I did not show you my math to make my point. Hi, so today I will give you a small little update on my most polarizing video, exploit glyph always good. Um, so don't worry, this will be the last video of this of a kind, but I think it's important to show you the math here because I still believe that you will be able to make better decisions in this game if you really understand how damage calculation in Diablo works. And so for this reason, I will give you a little update and show you how you can use a damage calculator online to also make these kind of tests for your own and also calculate your damage properly. I already have written below the video that I should have mentioned how I calculate the numbers. I just showed you my numbers and stats and the results, but I didn't really show you how I calculate this. And some people thought that I'm just using simple math like adding 30% to 230 and then say this change is 9%. Obviously that's not how I did it, but it was my mistake. I should have shown the way I calculate these numbers and DPS in Diablo because otherwise you cannot understand it properly. So yeah, that was my mistake. I put it in the comments down of the video, and yeah, today I want to clarify everything. So basically, I'm always working within my own Google Sheet document, and I just thought it would take too much time to show you everything, and it's not really interesting to look at these numbers. But yeah, I will show you now, and then I will switch to an easier tool, an online DPS calculator, so every one of you can access this very quickly and easily. But first, to make clear that my math is correct here. If you're really interested in that, you can see here is my formula. So this formula is the DPS formula, and it's very small, I know. Unfortunately, I can't make it bigger. But basically, what I'm doing is I have all of my stats here, so just the same stats as shown in my video, kinda. So crit, crit strike chance, crit strike damage, vulnerable damage, main stat, additive damage. And then with my formula for the total damage DPS, I here have the DPS numbers, and then here you can see are the percentages of the changes, and yeah, these are exactly the ones that I showed you in the video. But now I will switch to an online calculator and just prove my point here. So yeah, we can also start with a fresh calculator. So you just go to d4ut.net. This is I think the most popular damage calculator, and it's actually very easy. So you just select your class, and okay, I realized, oh no, okay, no, he clears up. So you select your class, for this case rogue, and then you just need to put in some numbers. So for example, we have weapon damage, and for this example, let's take 1000. So just it doesn't matter how much damage the weapon does. Then our dexterity is in my example, it's always also 1000. Weapon speed 1, you just leave it there. Then I said vulnerable damage. My endgame rogue has 230% vulnerable damage. And then here, instead of all damage, we can also just type in our whole additive damage bucket, because all damage and also of these kind of damage numbers here, so basic, core, cutthrow, dual wield, and so on, they all are the same damage bucket. So later in the video I showed you this damage bucket here. So yeah, additive damage bucket, everything goes in here. And so that's why you could also put in 600% here. So all damage representative for all additive damage, okay? But if you use this calculator, you can just type in these values by your, for themselves. So for example, 60 core, 60 cutthroat, you have a plus 50 to trap or something, okay? So yeah, that's how this calculator works. You just type in all the numbers that you see on your stat, on your character screen, if you open the stats. So here we don't need anything further. Then we go down here, critical strike chance. In my case, it was 50 critical strike chance and 400 critical strike damage. And I think that should be it. So we just typed in all the numbers from my video. Critical strike chance, critical strike damage, all damage represented for additive damage bucket and vulnerable damage, and dexterity 1000. So, and now this calculator gives us our DPS number, 138,600, okay? So this would be our DPS without any skills or like passives or aspects, and with 1000 weapon damage. So this is our basic number. And what I did now is I just copied this calculator. I open it on a second screen, and now we can make our adjustments. So like in my video, I make the first adjustment of adding 30% vulnerable damage. So this is representative for the exploit glyph. Because my point in this video was that exploit glyph is good for its unique effect, but if you don't need this effect, so if you're playing with Flurry Rogue, for example, where you can apply vulnerability very quickly without this glyph, then this glyph is not as good as many people think, because many people always play with exploit, even if they play with Flurry Rogue or something and don't need this effect. And this was my only point to make, that the damage bonus from the exploit glyph is not as big as many people think. Because I'm always reading comments like, yeah, it's multiplicative vulnerable damage. It will increase your total damage by 20-30%. And that's just not true. That was my point to prove, to prove this. So we do the same here. So again, my outcomes were here. So I say 30% of vulnerable damage will increase my total damage by only 9%. So we're doing this here. Vulnerable damage, we are adding 30. So instead of 230, we have 260. And you can see the DPS is higher now. And then we just need to use a calculator. And we type in this number, 151,200. Okay, I need to disable my ad blocker first. So, okay, some advertisement. Okay, so we are typing in this number, 151,200. Okay, and then we divide this number by the first DPS number without the change. So our base damage is 138,000. So we divide this by 138,600. Okay, so, and we get 1.09. And if you then subtract 1 and multiply it by 100, you get the percentage change. So 9.09 is exactly what I was showing here. So 30% vulnerable damage will increase your damage by 9%. And this is the same math as I have here in my own Google Sheet. So you can see my DPS formula is exactly the same as online damage calculators use as well. So don't worry, guys, I understand the math, and I understand how DPS is calculated in this game. So yeah, and we could do the same with like I reset this to 230 again. So maybe just remember the DPS. So the change DPS is 151,000. So now I revert this change. And now I say, okay, now we add 64% additive damage. So this was my second case. So if we add 664 additive damage, then we have, instead of 600, we have 664. And you can see here, it's again 151,000 DPS. So again, roughly about 9% increase. So this should prove that my math is correct, and you can use DPS calculator on your own. So I mentioned this many times in the comments. Just use a DPS calculator if you still don't believe my math or my approach. But I should have showed it in the video as well. That was my mistake, because I think it was not clear enough. So I give you that. And unfortunately for the third case here, so 10% multiplicative damage, on this calculator, I don't see a possibility to apply this as well. You can only put in some aspects and passives, but there is no option for adding 10% multiplicative damage. But multiplicative damage is very easy. It just means that your whole damage, so all of this number here, 138,000, it's just multiplied by 10%. So it would be, sorry, what I'm doing here. So 138,000, it would be just multiplied by 1.1. Okay, so again, we have 151,800. So yeah, it's very simple, and also within my calculator, I am able to show this. Yeah, so that was the math behind my exploit glyph video. I hope you have a better understanding now, and if you still don't understand it and still don't believe me, then I give up, okay? I won't make any further videos. But for the people who were not certain of my math, and just for the people who want to understand this, I made this video. And also I will link down this DPS calculator. And also, if you like to use my Google Sheet, I have a video on my channel. It's called How to Easily Compare Weapons. I can also post a link down below. So you can also use my Google Sheet, because if you use my Google Sheet document, the advantage is that you can just save your numbers in this document and just update them every week or so. And with the online calculator, I think you need to put the numbers in every time from the beginning. So yeah, but I will link both of them, so you can use this kind of tools to compare weapons or compare some stats. If you really want to go deep in this game, very deep in the math. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. And I just want to say again, the summary. Exploit glyph is a very good glyph. I never said exploit is a bad glyph. So again, if you need exploit for vulnerability, just go for it. It's very good. My point was only to make clear that vulnerable damage bonus is not as strong as people believe, and you have many alternatives. You have very many alternatives for kind of same glyphs. And for example, with my Paragon board, I really like to use glyphs like Diminish or Devious, because they give me a lot of armor and also some bit of the additive damage. So for me, this kind of glyph is just better overall, because it's a very nice trade-off of armor, so defensive stats and damage. And also something like Closer will also give you additive damage, but also provide you with damage reduction. So if I don't need exploit glyph, then these kind of glyphs, Closer, Turf, Ambush, they are all, in my opinion, much better than just taking this glyph for the 30% vulnerable damage. So that's my whole point. Last video about this topic. I hope this was kind of helpful. And stay tuned to my next videos about cold barbar builds and stuff. So yeah, see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye bye.